Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you are having a fantastic day. Well, we got a lot of things in the news today, including more cancellations and more ships being set aside to handle infected crew members in isolation. Yeah, it's a thing. So I do have some reports of the CDC as well coming out and talking about the surge in cases on cruise ships and what they're going to do with the conditional sail order that's coming up in just 3 more days. So stay tuned for that. But first, let's talk about Norwegian Cruise Line. Norwegian Cruise Line, just last week we reported that, or a couple days ago, just reported that, 8 of their ships have canceled cruises or postponed opening of ships that were supposed to restart. Well, that number is now gone from 8 to 11 ships. So the ships affected: Norwegian Pearl, Norwegian Dawn, the Getaway, the Escape, the Joy, the Sky, the Pride of America, the Jade, the Star, the Sun, the Spirit. That's quite a list. Quite a list of cruise ships out there that got postponed now. Some up to and including January 17th, 18th, 19th, but some all the way again into April of this year, up to and including those dates. So if you're on one of those ships, just go to the Norwegian website. You can click on their updated protocol system and their cancellations and everything, and you'll see a whole list right there of the ships that are affected and when their restart dates are going to be. So not a fun time right now for Norwegian Cruise Line. And then we also have Royal Caribbean, who started out with 2 ships they were going to use as temporary stations for cruise members that have to be isolated, who are in close contacts or who have tested positive and have to be quarantined for 5 to 10 days or until they test negative. Well, that's gone up now to 4 cruise ships. So we have the Vision, the Rhapsody, and now we have the Jewel and the Serenade, are all 4 ships now going to be taking on other crew members and using those ships as temporary quarantine hotels until the crew members are back. Now, Royal Caribbean has stressed this over and over again that these crew members are asymptomatic or have very, very mild symptoms or are just close contact isolations. Nobody requiring actual medical care is being transferred to a cruise ship. They would be transferred to a hospital or home or someplace on land. And they said so far, all the crew members that they have fit the category of they don't need medical attention. So that's a pretty good thing to say right now, even though they have had this big surge right now on the cruise ships. We'll see if they start dying out, hopefully very, very soon, within the next week or so. You'll see those numbers start to drop down and a lot of these crew members back out onto the ships. But in the meantime, more and more ships and cruises are being interrupted and canceled. And as you saw with Norwegian, 3 more ships on that list. It just makes it hard. I just had some friends call me last night who were supposed to do back-to-back on a cruise, and the first part of that cruise was canceled and the second one is still there, and they're worried that the second one might be canceled as well. So what do? Do they try and move it to one of the other ships that are still sailing? And that's a question that's going on right now that a lot of people are running into. Now, as far as the CDC is concerned, we had some bad news, yet we had some good news. But before I get to that story, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, so you can keep up to date with all things cruising, everything that's in the news, all the stories, ship vlogs, everything to do with cruising. It really does help the channel out quite a bit YouTube says, hey, more people are interested in this content. Let's share it out to more people. And that's how it helps the channel grow. It doesn't cost anything. And I'd really, really appreciate it. Okay. The CDC just was in having a Senate committee. You probably see a lot of those on the news with the arguments between the senators and Dr. Fauci or Dr. Walensky. Well, they had one again just recently, and the CDC, Dr. Walensky, came out and said that over a course of 2 weeks, cases on cruise ships jumped 30 times. So if there was 1 person before, now there's 30 people before. If there's 100 people, then it's 3,000 people. You see how the number grows. So they said that is very concerning, but she also said at the same time, that's kind of the same thing that's been happening everywhere in the country. And then she was also pressured about the no sail order. Should they be releasing the cruise ships to do what they want at this time? And she came right out and said that they have no intention on extending that. They're going to go to a voluntary system as was planned. And they also said that the cruise lines have stepped up and shown that they're even willing to go beyond the steps that has been recommended by the CDC. CDC says isolate your people for 10 days. They're isolating them for 10 days, for 5 days. They're isolating them for 10 days. The CDC says, you know, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to do this. On a cruise ship, they're saying, yes, you do have to do this. So they actually have stronger recommendations than the CDC actually has put out. So that's why the CDC feels confident that they can let the cruise ships run their business. They've proven and they've shown that they are willing to put in the work to keep the passengers safe and do all they possibly can to mitigate any spread of COVID. Yes, it's going up, but it's going up everywhere in the world. It's not like a magical thing that's only happening in their industry. It's happening everywhere. So that was a really good thing to say. And a lot of this was put out there by an Alaskan senator who was worried that there was going to be no 2022 Alaska season because of COVID restrictions and the things that CDC might introduce, like another cruise ship ban. You can have the bypass of Canada all you want, but if there's a ban on cruising out of the United States, then that just puts an end to it altogether, no matter what you put in place before that. And that's when the CDC, Dr. Walensky, came out and said that the cruise lines have been doing above and beyond what we've asked them to do. We've been working with them in great detail, and we are happy with what they are doing as far as their best to mitigate anything out there. And what more can we ask? And that's kind of what we've been saying all along when everything was happening. If the cruise ships are doing this the right way and doing it properly, then we should have not too many issues. It's when things are relaxed and rules are not quite done that way, then you run into the troubles. And that's why even the CDC is saying that the cruise lines have stepped up, and there are no plans to not relinquish the no sail order, which as far as I'm concerned is great news. Well, let me know what you guys think about all these stories in the news today. Do you think we're going to see more ships canceled from Norwegian? Do you see we're going to have a 5th ship from Royal Caribbean? Haven't seen a ship like that from Celebrity or Princess or Carnival. Let's see, are they just doing a better job? We don't know. We don't know. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel blogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.